to you about how people can discover their true talents and passions and the difference it makes in their lives if they do that. It's what I call finding your element. And I want to say a few words about what it is, about why it matters, and what you can do about it if you feel you haven't found yours yet. I meet some people, quite a lot of people actually, who feel they don't have any real talents. They don't have any special talents to speak of. Also, they don't much enjoy the work they do, if they do work. They don't enjoy their lives all that much. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I'm not saying it's true of you, but you know it's true of a lot of people. They don't enjoy their lives, they kind of get on with it and wait for the weekend. But I also meet people who absolutely love what they do and couldn't imagine doing anything else. If you said, why don't you stop this and try something else for a change, they wouldn't know what you were talking about. Because they'd say, this isn't what I do, this is who I am. This defines me. When I do this, I feel I'm my most natural and authentic self. It can be anything, by the way, absolutely anything. But they would describe themselves, if I hadn't done it already for them, as being in their element. The sequel I want to talk about tonight is called Finding Your Element. One of the people we talked about in there is a mathematician who, when he was 4, taught himself to read by watching Sesame Street. So he has a rather curious accent. As a consequence. When he was 8, he took a college entrance math exam and got 98%. When he was 20, he took his PhD in pure math and got it. And when he was 30, he was awarded the Field Medal for mathematics, which is the equivalent of the Nobel Prize. It's reasonable to say, isn't it, that he gets math. He's got the hang of it. In a way, I don't mean they're perfect with it, but they know what they're doing. Some people pick up a word processor and words start coming out of them. Some people, are naturally gifted in sport. My point is we all have natural talents. They're all different, but many people never discover them. And the reason is that natural talent is like natural resources in the earth. It's often buried beneath the surface. There have to be conditions which bring it up, and you then have to refine and cultivate these resources that you have. And the people we think of as highly talented are among those who've found their particular talents. And the people who often think they're not specially talented, it's often, I think, because they simply don't know what lies inside them. They haven't had the opportunity to find that yet. So being in your element is partly that. It's finding your natural talents. But it's more than that, you see, because you can be good at something but not like it. I know all kinds of people who do things they don't really care for. To be in your element, you have to love it. And if you love something you're good at, well, as they say, you never work again at that point. This is the point, you have to love it. If you love something, it just doesn't feel like work. It's a passion that calls you. So to be in your element is those two things. It's doing something you have an aptitude for that you love. And if you find that meeting point, your life goes in a completely different direction. As Confucius once said, you never work again. Natural opportunities that led to you being born. It's a pretty extraordinary situation that you're here at all. And of course, many more people do not make it than do. So congratulations, we got here. And many people didn't. And for a lot of people, life is not as long and fruitful as many other people. Somebody once said, I thought it was a wonderful comment, they said, you should never resent getting old. It's a privilege denied to many. It's curious in this town that people spend so much time pretending they're not maturing, as if it's a mistake of nature that it should happen. And maturing is a natural process. I'm going to come back to this, but to be born at all is a miracle. And what astonishes me is how little people are willing to settle for in their lives. That they'll just put up with things, endure them, but not really enjoy their being here. So finding your element, to me, is essential to personal fulfillment because it's about discovering the truth within you, who you are and what you're capable of, the things that make you feel at your most authentic. as people do when they are in their element. The things they wake up in the morning thinking, I have to get to this. As opposed to people who wake up in the morning thinking, oh God, I've got to do this again. I have the privilege to speak about finding your element in different parts of the country and signing books for the previous book as well, The Element. And I often ask people what they do and say, do you like it? And it intrigues me how often people say, they'll correct me, spontaneously say, I love it. And you know then that they've found this thing. By the way, it may not be the same thing forever. You may progress through various incarnations in your own life as you evolve yourself. So it's personal. There's a second reason, though, which is social. I suppose we can put it that way. It is astonishing now, I think, how many people feel disengaged from what they do. In most surveys, if you ask people what they want from their lives, they'll come out with some version of saying, I want to be happy, or I want my kids to be happy, or I want my family to be happy. Happiness is one of those ultimate goods that people buy into. But happiness is not being cheerful. Happiness is a state of well-being. It doesn't mean that you're constantly going around in a great mood, but you feel somehow settled within you. But it's not an exaggeration to say that a vast horde of people do not feel centered in their own lives or living lives that have purpose and meaning. According to the World Health Organization, by 2020, the second largest cause of mortality among human beings will be depression. Depression in all its myriad forms. And depression's a bit of a portmanteau term. I mean, it covers all kinds of different conditions, of course. But depression, taken overall, is one of the things that is thought likely to be the biggest cause of mortality. 30% of adults in America are currently estimated to be suffering from some form of depression. Do you know, last year, there's a category of drugs called antipsychotics, which only used to be available for people who were under supervised care in mental institutions for, recognized conditions. Last year, sales of antipsychotic drugs on prescription, more freely available, for the first time overtook sales of drugs for cholesterol and acid reflux to become the highest category of drug sales. Those drugs now constitute a $14 billion market for the drugs companies in America. Recent studies have suggested, too, by Gallup, that a huge proportion of adults are disengaged from the work they do. Again, they show up to work, and they appear to be working, but if you're their boss, they wait till you leave the room and get back on Facebook. This isn't the thing they want, it's not the thing they love for. So there's a social reason to think about finding your element. The social reason is that everyone is entitled, I believe, to discover the thing that gives their life purpose and meaning. And if they do, there's a different character and quality to the lives we lead, not just individually, but collectively. But there's a third reason why finding your element matters so much, which is economic. We spend most of our lives at work, and we should be doing work that fulfills us if we can, or finding something in the work that we do that is fulfilling. And if we don't find it at work, there should be some part of our lives where we do find it. And all the evidence is, if people find some part of their lives that they are deeply fulfilled by, even if the work they do doesn't fulfill them, then at least their life has a different sort of balance. But by the way, people love all kinds of things that you might not love at all. I recently tweeted a sentence that would have been meaningless 10 years ago, wouldn't it? I mean, 10 years ago, people didn't tweet, did they? Did they? I mean, if they did, they were discouraged, weren't they? People say, I'm sorry, what was that? Would you mind not doing that? There are people trying to read in here, would you mind not?